Hello, loving greetings to you. These are questions to a TMF marriage counselor, and got a very interesting one here that I want to share with you. And your comments, what I'd like from you is to let me know if these are helpful to you. Okay, so I am a male in a long-term sexless marriage. Our marriage didn't go bad. It never started in the first place. That is, from a sex standpoint. It went bad on our honeymoon night. We don't know why my wife is an asexual with a serious sex aversion, since relationship problems and past sexual trauma have been ruled out. It appears my marriage will not be able to meet, he meant to say, my sexual needs. So my question is, what healthy way should I meet my sexual needs when I cannot turn to my marriage? Randal. So let's see what the counselor wrote. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Randal, I think you mean moral rather than healthy, because he said, I want to satisfy my sexual desires in a healthy way. So we cannot give advice on this based on our principles. We don't agree that one partner has the moral right to hold off sharing this preference until after the marriage was confirmed at the altar. In other words, she should have said something before. However, I think Paul would agree, we'll find out, that your marriage was never consummated in the first place, and so you have every right to terminate the marriage. Maybe I would agree with that. This can be viewed as, from a religious perspective, as that's the commitment. And once you commit to the marriage and you're married, that's it. That's one way of looking at it. I'm not sure what my way of looking at it is, honestly. And you have every right to terminate the marriage. Well, everyone always has every right. We also know that there are marriages that do not have sex. Even marriages where there are children, where the couple only used sex for that purpose, and those are really cool marriages, but it was by agreement, and that's huge. Not an imposition from one on the other. So we typically don't get involved in these sorts of moral discussions, or you could even call it a as individuals, this is deep. Let me start off by saying that. Let me also start off by saying I'm Paul. I am the founder of the Marriage Foundation, and I'm the one who laid out all the principles that we live by and that we teach our TMF marriage counselors to adhere to. And it's true that I do not believe that one person has the right to decide when there's sex and when there isn't. But usually when marriages are run according to how they're supposed to be run, see, so many people think that, oh, it's just whatever, everyone is different. Well, that's like saying when you get behind the wheel of a car, everyone is different. Well, yeah and no. Yeah, we're all different in that we have our own philosophies about how to behave, but we're not different when it comes to following the rules of the road, knowing how to treat our car, knowing what signals mean and all of that. Then it's not every man to himself. And this is where marriage has really gotten into trouble in our world, because there are rules. There are rules that everyone should live by. So these are the principles that we've established at the Marriage Foundation that we use for helping couples who are having trouble. I don't think we can help this individual because he uses the term long term, and I'm not sure if we could have helped him anyway, because it sounds like his wife is simply not into having sex for any reason, and she's the one who really needs an education about sex, and he can't give her that education. One of the principles is that free will is not ours to impose upon with our partner, or anyone else for that matter, because it's such a holy gift for each individual. Free will is powerful. Now, we all throw away our free will, but you have that free will choice. The way we throw away our free will is by just going along with our habits, not really monitoring our own thinking, just doing what we always do. That's having this amazing, powerful tool of free will and never using it. But in this case, she's fine with how she handled it with her husband. I personally think that what she did was immoral. She should have told her husband, because there's an expectation on his part that they will have sex, because that's part of a normal marriage. So she deceived him. And I would say that when it comes to morality, he's got to decide how he's going to see whether her deception is worthy of ending their marriage or not. If I were in his position, which is always a good way to look at things, if I were in his position and sex was really important to me, then I would tell her, sex is very important to me. And if you have made up your mind and we're not going to explore ways of opening these doors, then I think it's important for us to part as friends and go our separate ways. But that's how I would do it, because that's a big one. What should he do? Well, we wouldn't tell him that, by the way, because that's not our business. Now, one of our counselors might say, here's what I would do, but not a counselor who's working under the umbrella of the Marriage Foundation. Unless they have their own practice, then they can do that. But the Marriage Foundation doesn't get involved in it. There's so many potentials. We don't know if he's telling the whole story. In fact, we can be quite assured that he probably isn't. But this is a tough one. So let's talk about what sex is in a marriage, because that's important too. You see, he's coming from the place of satisfying his bodily needs. It's legitimate, don't get me wrong. It's legitimate. He has a right to want that. However, I'm just pointing this out in this video for your knowledge that that's not what marriage is about. What marriage is about is creating unconditional love within yourself for your spouse and finding ways to express that. And sex is a great way. Unfortunately, in our world, most people see sex as a form of recreation, not as a tool to create a connection between two souls, your soulmates. So this is interesting. I'd love to get your perspective on this if you want to leave a comment. Also, please subscribe and like this video. And let me know if you like sort of this way of going, where now what we're doing is, and I'm going to do a bunch of these and see how people like them, where we get real life questions and give you the thought process. And as you could tell, it's right off the bat. I didn't study this. So again, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. And I hope we can help you with your marital problems. We have a lot of things to choose from at our website. Visit us at themarriagefoundation.org. .org means we're a nonprofit. The counselors, and we have that free service where you could ask a counselor, and they're all volunteers. I'm a volunteer. So thank you so much for stopping by. God bless you, and take care. Thank you.